All right, we are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the State of the Revolution with Heather and Jeremy. And it is our first post-election show after it looks like Joe Biden has been elected to the presidency. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but we are also going to talk about some things that Fred Hampton said in the context of making a revolution in the United States and internationally. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about what the new administration means, or the incoming administration means in the context of making a revolution, how we technically have to fight, and the things that Hampton said and how it's relevant today. So with that, Heather, you want to start us off?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like I guess Vox has called it for Biden. They're the only ones so far, but definitely looks like he's going to be our new oppressor in chief. And I think a lot of people have been freaking out, but I've actually been pretty calm because we're going to have to do the same thing to fight no matter who won this. We're going to be doing the exact same struggle and fight. When because they're both capitalists and they both work for the same capitalist masters. Nothing was going to be different.
I would phrase it as they have different strategies for preserving the same institutions.
Right.
People will say, Democrats want you to vote and Republicans don't. That they're not a different one. One party, wants to make you feel included, and the other party doesn't even know. Oh, they're both excluding you. So, for a while, liberals have had, the hold on how to lull the masses into security. Trump woke everyone up to the horrors, but they're going back to complacency, it looks like.
Right.
Which reminds me, do you think it would be good in terms of a revolutionary movement if were to openly defy the result and try and stay? Because would that prove the illegitimacy of liberal democracy?
Unfortunately, I don't think it would. I think that most people, they're just not they're not activated yet, and people aren't going to start fighting. I mean, we just saw the Democrats were doing their post gaming about it, and they're like, oh well, the problem we did as it was as close as it was is because we mentioned the word socialism. One of their analysts said that we're not ever going to say defund the police again, and we're not going to say the word socialism again, and that was their response to why they did so poorly this time around.
No matter what the result would have been, there would have been a way to discredit the progressive flank. Even as if Biden wins, he would have said, see, this is why we didn't need the left. And if Biden loses, this is on the left's fault. They didn't vote for us. I do get some sort of thrill and the pleasure out of watching libertarians get blamed for giving Biden the victory in Michigan.
Right, being green, I have been yelled at for so long now of it being a spoiler. I mean, it's all bullshit, but that's something that I get yelled at every day. So seeing actually, I saw the libertarians get blamed for not for Biden not winning in Georgia.
Georgia. Democrats think every vote is entitled to them.
Right. Even though libertarians are so far removed in what they're going for.
Anyway, let's talk about Fred Hampton a little bit.
Yes, Fred Hampton. We had the two, we had a video and a reading that I had posted for everyone that wanted to play along with us tonight and read along with us. And so what did you think?
I thought, I thought he was talking about some pretty basic stuff, but it was stuff that was important and needed to be said. And I have a couple quotes that stood out to me. The first one I want to read out is, he said, quote, "A lot of people get the word revolution mixed up and think revolution's a bad word. Revolution is nothing but like having a sore in your body and you put something on that sore to cure that infection. And we live in a sick society." And that is very important because I think it's important that people understand and that radicals are reacting to the situation around them and are not trying to destroy for the sake of destroying, are not trying to break shit for the sake of breaking shit. We are trying to fix shit.
Right, exactly. And that ties in so well with, like, we were just talking about the election, that I've been this whole time saying, like, people want to go back to normal. That's, their goal. I want to just go back to what it was. But what it was so bad. And our society is diseased. It's a cancer. It's not functional. And,
like giving Advil to someone who has like cancer sores.
Right. Yeah. It's, going back to normal is not good. Normal was not a place that we want to go back to. We want to go to somewhere better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Hampton was talking about is, revolutionary. Anything's revolutionary is its advancement. It's growing. It's going from point A to point B, and point B being a better place than you were in point A.
Yeah. He said, we're going to have to organize and dedicate ourselves to revolutionary political power and teach ourselves the specific needs of resisting the power structure, arm ourselves, and we're going to fight the reactionary pigs with international proletarian revolution. And how I interpret that is that there's going to be multiple blows with the police and reactionary elements. And it's not going to be like one day we are not having a revolution, and then the next day the revolution happens, and the revolution's happening, and then it's done. Like it's going to be a continuous, sporadic struggle, probably led by people who are Black and Native living on the American continent, and it's going to be difficult and not very, very straightforward. Hampton seemed to be very adamant in keeping the masses engaged on the ground and not talking down to them, leading them from what he perceived to be a higher intellectual place. He talked about meeting people's immediate needs as a tool for making a revolution. And you do that without the bourgeois state, and you teach people that there are ways to survive without it.
Yeah, I think both of the pieces that we selected this time, we're talking about education and what that education has to look like. And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't this top-down thing. It was a very people learn by watching and observing and repeating. And like his stop sign analogy that he used was really good. Like, you want to get a stop sign put somewhere, you can go out and run around at City Hall and drive yourself crazy, or, you can go out and nail up a stop sign. Yeah. And then the next time the masses see you do that, and they're like, oh, well, maybe I can just go nail up a stop sign now.
Yeah. Same thing, if you want if you want to bring healthcare to people, you can set up a clinic, or you can complain to your representatives that they're not providing you healthcare, or you can complain to your politicians that you're not getting the wages that you need, or you can set up a general strike or ransack a Walmart or whatever. Whenever looting, for lack of a better term, happening is without the political consciousness of most of the masses. I imagine it's more for catharsis, but there is a possibility that there are some people who know exactly what good looting from a major corporation can do. And I think it's up to people in that community to whisper in the ear of people in Philadelphia at Walmart, aren't they ransacked from after, or the police shooting to say, hey, these major corporations, they fund the police and they're putting us in danger. We should direct things, we live here, this community is ours. It's not as simple as people wanting free shit for the sake of taking free shit, or at least it doesn't have to be.
Exactly, yeah. And to tie that back to Hampton a little bit, like he kind of, I forget which piece it was in, he said that the community should be evaluating what the community needs. And any organization that's coming in, any business that's coming in needs to be evaluated. Does this serve the needs of my community? And I can tell you Walmart is not serving the needs of your community.
Right. There's a drawback to that, that if there is, individual terrorism and stealing for the sake of stealing, the people who can start to, want to advance their own needs at the expense of the community. And when they do that, they are in danger of becoming capitalist and imperialist if they figure they can get what they need without relying on input from the community. He said, I think in the discussion with the other activists in the video, that simply asking what people want money for is not really enough. They need to be educated on the complexity of social institutions, what the masses of people need in general first, before they start asking for living room furniture or a car. Because if they do that, and they won't start to think about the importance of building social infrastructure.
Right. There's got to be an education component when you're trying to build revolution. I don't think that you can successfully have a revolution without an educational component of why you're making this revolution.
He's head of the Breakfast for Children program that the Black Panther started. He said there were people saying, I don't know if I like communism and I don't know if I like socialism, but I know that Breakfast for Children feeds my kids. And that is incredibly important. There's going to be people who are not, radical intelligentsia, who are going to be helped by socialist and communist thinking. And they're, I think, going to tend to be the ones that lead the on-the-ground revolution more so than the intelligentsia. Now, if there's a person who can be both intelligentsia and on the ground, that would be very helpful. But unfortunately, either there's too much talk of, we will set up a proletarian dictatorship in the name of commerce, blah, 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 instead of adapting material needs to the conditions on the ground where it's needed. And unfortunately, there has not been a Marxist or socialist party to gain nearly as much traction in the last 60 years as the Black Panthers had before the FBI quashed them.
Right. And this kind of reminded me, did you watch the Chicago 7 movie on Netflix?
I haven't, but I heard it was a watered down version of what actually happened.
Oh, yeah. It was very the liberalized version. I mean, it was Aaron Sorkin. He, kind of everyone becomes himself in his writing a lot. Yeah. So he definitely watered down, the Students for a Democratic Society and the Black Panthers. Yeah. Both got very watered down and whitewashed in it.
Yeah. It's like in his mind that all you need to do is say a nice, pretty, flowery words, and everyone is going to be like, well, I can't argue with that. Instead of trying to shoot you in the face, because they will try and shoot you in the face.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of Sorkin's. What was it? The Newsroom was a perfect example of that. If you ever watched that show,
I've seen a few clips of it. The opening scene was the reporters and America's not the greatest country in the world anymore, but God damn it, we used to be.
Right. We used to be this great country. Oh, when was that exactly? Let's break that down. When was it great for everyone?
Right, that character later said in another famous clip that the Tea Party aren't real Republicans anymore, and I remember when, and I used to think, this guy's making some pretty decent points. I mean, I was a child, but like,
right. But then you lived life a little more, and you saw the learned experience, and seeing really how you're being screwed by capitalism. Nothing beats that as far as radicalizing you.
Right. Hampton said, I don't care how much theory you got. If you don't have any practice to it, then the theory happens to be irrelevant. And that is extremely important because I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people who consider themselves to be Marxist-Leninist is to consider themselves to be upholding the only successful revolution that have ever happened. And in their mind, successful is pretty low standards, apparently, because they justify that by saying they're voting for Biden because you can't get what you want out of a bourgeois democracy, so you might as well mitigate as much damage as you can. And, to quote Eugene Debs, I'd rather vote for what I want and not get it than vote for what I don't want and get it. Like, it's not my fault if everyone else votes for someone I can't tolerate.
Right. Well, I actually am of the opinion that incrementalism makes things worse. Really, incrementalism does not ever get you really closer to your goal. That like the ACA, for example, you pass the Obamacare, and it's so bad that people hate it. And that gets you farther away from giving everyone health care now, because people have this bad experience with what they believe or what they're told that they're working towards. And it's so bad for people. They're like, I don't want more of that.
Yeah. When they think you've already done healthcare reform and fucked it up, they think, oh great, what other damage are you gonna do?
Right. They think, it's just gonna be even more of this bad stuff that I don't like.
Right. That's the excuse people give for not supporting Johnson in so-called Great Society and War on Poverty, because he didn't get to implement all the reforms that he wanted to, and then they get to say, "See, it didn't work. Actively trying to reduce poverty doesn't work. We need to not reduce it and just let the free market decide or whatever." Of course, Johnson, like Kennedy, was a racist and a capitalist, and same as FDR. It was a matter of self-preservation, and because socialist, communist, and left-leaning black people were prepared to destroy the country if something didn't happen. And I don't know if the United States would have had a revolution in the 1930s had Roosevelt not as the New Deal, but I can tell you that when it is the consensus of both major parties to take away reforms that were earned 80 years ago, piece by piece, and they're hoping because some of them want you to vote.
Right. I mean, and this election specifically, I think was the worst I've ever felt about voting. Like, I voted for Howie Hawkins, and I liked Howie Hawkins. He was a very good guy, but I knew we weren't going to do very well just because there was so much Trump fervor. Right. But the two main candidates were just, it literally seems to me that it gets worse every time I vote. That it's charismatic liar after charismatic liar. And now we don't even have charismatic liars. Presidents used to at least be charismatic when they were lying to you. Neither one of these guys were even charismatic.
Right. There's a common quote. Oh, and I think it was Franz Kafka who said that politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. And, that I think is especially relevant because, people were entertained by the notion of election night and waiting for the results to come in. And, we can't wait to get that orange guy out of office. It's because that orange guy is so uniquely bad. And, at least we can relax a little bit. And if the orange guy loses and, the sane adult candidate, it went, and it's like, shut up. Like, I'm a sports fan, but I'm not a fan of politics. I pay attention to politics because politics are. I'm like, ew, can't we play a different game? Like,
right. I mean, I'm involved in politics, but I also kind of really hate politics, which is a dumb thing to say since I'm actually going to be running for office next year.
Are you?
I am going to run for office next year. I'm seeking the Green Party nomination. Hopefully, I will get the nod from the Green Party before next year, and I'll be announcing.
What are you running for?
I'll be doing the official announcement in the new year, I think.
Oh, cool.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So, but even though I say, I'm very involved in politics, but I really hate politics. But you're so spot on, or Kafka was so spot on with that entertainment thing, because look at who we've elected president. We've elected a movie star in the 80s and then a reality TV star. Like, if that's not supporting the fact that this is mainly just entertainment, then I don't know what it is.
Although I have a principled objection to the presidency. I don't have a principled objection to movie stars being in some sort of power position, especially if I want them to control the media that they perform in, which I do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any movie stars I would want to follow at the moment. Like as far as a leader of a large group of people, a movie star should be probably more relating to the material conditions of other movie stars. Sure. Not populace in general.
Yeah. Well, that's the trouble with labor aristocracy and, getting paid lots of money to play.
Right.
And kids play pretend all the time. Kids play, games and sports all the time. Some adults get at the privilege of playing pretend and playing sports when they get older. And that gets to be their job. And a few of them get really successful at it. And those are the people that get put on TV. And, being in a communist society would take away their security and comforts because they would actually have to start making decisions on behalf of everyone instead of just themselves.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I absolutely think there's still going to be amazing movie stars because there's people that are genuinely gifted at it. Under communism, you're still going to have awesome movies. You're just going to have a wider variety because it's not just made by people that have achieved a certain level of success and now are disconnected from the masses. Art will be coming from the masses. So
art will be coming from the masses. I do think that it's important, in my opinion, to target it, and in certain cultural institutions that are at top of mind for the public. National and international retail establishments like Walmart's and Target. Sports leagues. If the NBA had actually gone through with their general strike and said, legalize weed and we'll play again. And maybe that would have had an impact.
Right. I think that would have been definitely, like, as much as, they got so much pushback for, any time that they do a protest, people do follow them. They're cultural icons. So if they can use their platform for that education that we're talking about of, hey, things can be different. You have the power to do this. Look what we're doing. That's very learning by demonstration and repetition.
Then Obama called LeBron James and said, "And hey guys, why don't you finish the season?" And James was like, "Yeah, okay."
Right.
And he freaked out when Laura Ingraham said, "Shut up and dribble." Obama said, "Shut up and dribble" in a more polite way.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that, as people haven't yet taken in the next step at being trying to seize cultural institutions that the public will pay attention to, because if they do, and first of all, the political establishment will oppose it with just as much fervor as any administration would, no matter which party is in power, which might show people that doesn't matter who's president, they'll bring in tanks if they're threatened enough. They'll still bomb your neighborhood if they're threatened enough. Or they'll still poison you in your sleep and shoot you in the head and pay one of your associates to set that up for you if they're threatened enough, which is how Fred Hampton was murdered. So it's very telling that they're making a movie about Hampton, and it mainly focuses on the portrayal. I think the guy's name is Ed O'Neill, who set Ed Hampton up, rather than in the politics of Hampton and in the Black Panthers in general. Because if they did that, they might get the public thinking. So that is why things need to be watered for the public. That's why Sorkin liberalized things in the trial movie, and that's why the truth and actually be broadcasted to a large amount of people, because if it was, and they might get subversive ideas which might bring down the capitalist institutions that this society depends on. And
yeah, I hadn't even heard about the Black Panthers movie at all, so I need to look that up once we get off the show tonight.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of work to be done. I'd say, organize for general strikes if you can. Loot when you can. Set up food drives and medical clinics if you can. Whatever it takes to get the needs to people, well, you can, or send them as to the political establishment if they don't want their neighborhood destroyed. Whatever it takes, people should start or continue to do that. And I'm afraid, if Trump were to win, then he would have, shut that down, maybe declared martial law. And if Biden wins, that's not going to happen as much, because we've set up the illusion that the good guy is in power now, that there's a hero and a villain in the context of the American Republican system, and the hero is in power right now, which is weird because no one is under any illusions that the Democratic Party can hold on to power forever. And if people are being honest, I don't think they'd like the Democratic Party to hold on to power forever, because most people, as strange as it sounds, don't always vote for the same party. If they did, then the election results would not change every couple of years.
Right.
So I think people will have this hang up about the inherent badness of a one party or no party state, that they think switching between two parties is somehow virtuous and good.
even if the two parties are basically the same, they serve the same capitalist interests. That I mean, that's what we're set up to believe, right? That's what they tell you.
Yeah. So the state of the revolution is not good right now.
Yeah, the state of the revolution is kind of fucked right now. But we're just going to keep chipping away at it, the same as, no matter who had won, we have the same goals. Our goals aren't changing. And if people go back to brunch, they were never there for you to begin with. So don't get that upset when the people that you were trying to organize with go back to brunch, because they weren't your comrades to begin with. If they've gone back to brunch, organize with your comrades. They're the ones that stand with you. Of
course. Anyway, have a good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.